They're called killer whales for a reason, majestic, intelligent, but when the wild turns dark, they become unstoppable. From tanks to open seas, orcas have left a trail of shattered bones, sunken ships, and lives cut short. Captivity can twist their instincts. In the next few minutes, we'll uncover the most terrifying orca attacks ever filmed, each one more shocking than the last. Number 6. The gruesome orca attack on trainer Alexis Martinez. December 24, 2009. At Loro Parque Zoo in the Canary Islands, star trainer Alexis Martinez was preparing for the park's Christmas Eve show, his biggest performance of the year. Beside him was Kato, a 6,600-pound orca he knew well, trusted, and had performed with countless times. But that night, the whale would become something else entirely. What began as a smooth rehearsal suddenly changed. Kato stopped obeying commands. He blocked Alexis's path to the pool's edge, leaning in the way a wild orca corners its prey. Then, the strike. A crushing blow drove Alexis to the bottom of the 14-meter tank. Vital organs ruptured, bones shattered. Still, Kato came again, ramming, dragging, and battering the man he'd worked with for years. From above, trainers watched in horror. No one dared enter the water. No one could stop the assault. By the time Kato surfaced, Alexis's lifeless body balanced on the whale's nose. It was already too late. The official report called it a drowning. The autopsy told the real story. Catastrophic internal injuries, crushed ribs, bite marks. It was a killing, deliberate, violent, and unstoppable. Some believe it was years of captivity boiling over. Others call it a tragic accident. Either way, that Christmas Eve became the day no trainer at Loro Parque ever swam with an orca again. Number 5. The Strait of Gibraltar yacht. Sinking 25 feet long, 4 tons of muscle and cunning. Off the coast of Spain, one notorious pod of orcas has been waging an eerie campaign against sailors. In the dead of night, the 50-foot Albaran cognac sailboat was gliding through Moroccan waters near the Strait of Gibraltar when the ocean itself seemed to come alive. A massive shape slammed the hull, then another, and another. The crew felt the sickening shudder as the rudder, the ship's steering lifeline, was torn apart beneath them. Water began flooding in. Their only hope was to call for rescue before the sea claimed them whole. Within minutes, the boat was sinking. The sailors escaped with their lives, but their vessel vanished beneath the waves. This was no isolated strike. Since 2020, this same pod has attacked more than 400 boats across Spain, Portugal, and France, sinking at least 5. Scientists say it began with just 3 orcas experimenting with rudders, but now over half the pod has learned the technique. Some call it revenge. Others say it's a dangerous form of play. Either way, when these predators approach, even the most seasoned sailors feel a chill. If you're fascinated and maybe a little terrified by the raw power of nature, make sure to subscribe. Only the brave watch to the end. Are you one of them? At number 4, the death of Keltie Byrne. In 1991, at Sealand of the Pacific in British Columbia, a promising young marine biology student named Keltie Byrne slipped into a tank holding 3 orcas, Tilikum and 2 females. She tried to climb out. The whales wouldn't let her. What began as a mistake turned into a deadly game. The orcas pulled her under again and again, blocking her escape, holding her just long enough for her lungs to burn and her screams to fade. Witnesses described frantic rescue attempts, but there were no emergency protocols, no plan for when a predator turned its power on a human. Keltie drowned in full view of a crowd. The incident shut Sealand down forever. Tilikum, however, was not retired. Instead, he was sold to SeaWorld, a decision that would shape decades of tragedy to come. Number 3 on our list, the yacht that never made it home. Early Sunday morning off the Moroccan coast, a 50-foot yacht sent out a mayday. No storm, no mechanical failure, just shadows closing in. A pod of orcas, the same group blamed for sinking boats from Spain to France since 2020. struck like torpedoes. The hull shook with every hit. Then they tore into the rudder. Metal snapped, steering gone. Water surged in. Rescue teams arrived just in time to pull the crew to safety. Minutes later, the yacht was gone. Scientists call it play. Sailors call it terror. What began with only a few rogue orcas has evolved into a coordinated assault, a learned behavior passed down like a lethal hunting tactic. Since 2020, this endangered orca subpopulation, numbering fewer than 50 individuals, has had over 500 reported interactions with vessels off the Iberian Peninsula, targeting rudders with precision. They've sunk at least 4 yachts, including one during a 45-minute onslaught on a Polish vessel that ultimately went down near Tangier Med. Enter the notorious White Gladys, a matriarchal orca suspected of orchestrating these attacks. Behavior from her appears to be spreading through the pod, leaving sailors feeling they're not just unlucky, but hunted. Every year, like clockwork, these orcas return to Orca Alley, the Strait of Gibraltar, waiting in the depths, watching, waiting, learning. Already 3 vessels lie sunken at the bottom, claimed by their relentless assault. The runner-up, number 2, Steve Aibel's near-fatal encounter with Kai, July 27, 2004, SeaWorld San Antonio. The stadium was packed, the sun blazing, and veteran trainer Steve Aibel stood in the water with Kai, a 9,000-pound, 22-foot apex predator. For years, their performances had been built on trust, but mid-show, Kai ignored a command. His gaze darkened, and then he lunged. The water erupted as Kai slammed into Steve, dragging him under again and again. Trainers on the edge slapped the water, tossed fish. Nothing worked. Steve went limp, conserving air, waiting for the smallest chance to escape. At last, Kai released him. Steve hauled himself out, battered and barely breathing. Close contact work with Kai ended that day, and for those who saw it, the Shamu show would never feel the same again. If stories like these keep your heart pounding, join our crew by subscribing now. The ocean is full of secrets, and you won't want to miss the next one. And finally, number 1, the death of Dawn Brancheau, February 24, 2010, SeaWorld, Orlando. The crowd was still buzzing from the Dine with Shamu show. Trainers smiled, cameras flashed, and in the pool floated the park's largest star, Tilikum. 12,000 pounds of muscle, speed, and a history of lethal encounters few in the stands knew. Veteran trainer Dawn Brancheau knelt at the water's edge, offering fish and gentle cues. She had worked with Tilikum for years, knowing his quirks, his moods, or so it seemed. Then, without warning, he lunged. The orca clamped down, pulling her into the depths with terrifying force. Underwater, his massive frame twisted and rolled, keeping her trapped. Trainers on deck scrambled. Nets, poles, shouts, emergency air valves. Nothing could break his grip. Minutes passed. Each time Tilikum surfaced, Dawn was still in his jaws. Her jaw was broken, her spinal cord severed, her body battered by the sheer power of an animal 20 times her size. When it was over, the pool went still. SeaWorld would never again allow trainers in the water during shows. Some call it a tragic accident. Others see it as the inevitable breaking point of a predator caged for decades. For those who witnessed it, there was no question. This was not play. It was a kill. From the open seas to marine parks, these encounters prove one thing: respect the orca or face the consequences. Which of these attacks shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments. And remember, in the ocean, you're never truly alone.